for every person that's like, oh, thank you for your service, and that kisses your ass way too fucking much for it, there's another person that would just as soon call you a fucking baby killer to your face. And it's like, well, you made a fucking choice. And in my experience, it's mostly been other black people that say that to me. Is that, well, you made a choice to go serve him, and I'm like, yeah, I get that, but see, if only you knew that I was 17 and didn't have a choice at the time before you started already throwing this shit at me, how I sold out to the white man and how I sold out and I'm a piece of shit and all. If only you knew.
Friends, this is Unbroken Chain, the podcast, and I'm Maura James. Welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. Yo, you guys, this week we have a really special hang. This is a new friend that we made in Macon, Georgia. His name is Huey Jackson, and Huey has become such a sweet part of our time in Georgia. Daniel and I were seeking out veterans because everywhere we've traveled as we've been nomading over the last year, we have encountered veterans. They are everywhere, and especially as we've been out in remote areas and seeking out people who are living off the grid for various reasons, by choice and also by circumstances of life, we've just again and again met so many people who, it turns out, are veterans. And you realize that this isn't coincidence. This is a pattern. There are people all around this country who have been through incredible experiences that most people cannot comprehend, that have affected them so deeply on emotional, spiritual, and mental levels. And they come back to this country, back to civilian society, and have almost no support from the government and the culture that sent them into those experiences. And it leaves people in pretty bad shape a lot of the time. And these people are everywhere, and they have such a story to tell about what our culture prioritizes and how we use individual lives, American human lives, really kids, ultimately. Huey signed up for the military when he was 17 years old, as you'll hear, because he didn't have good options. And we send kids off into these circumstances without being willing to reckon with the fallout on an individual level on these kids' lives. And I mean, this is just such a slice of life about how somebody ends up in that kind of life experience and how he managed to survive through it, and then what it's been like to deprogram from some of those survival mechanisms as well, in order to be his fullest, most healed self available now for his community here in Macon, which I have to say has gotten shit-talked a lot by people that don't live there, as I've been in Georgia this year. But everybody that I've met there has been a beautiful human being who's really active in the arts and in making something bigger and better for their community. So I just can't say enough for how much sweetness I have for Macon and for the people there. Every time that we've hung out with Huey, I have gotten so humbled. The fact that somebody that has gone through life with a lot of trust issues and feeling pretty isolated and alienated from people has come to be part of such a beautiful community. He's basically the creative director for this hip-hop group, the Advocates, and that he's down to share his story in this way with me, not only, but with all of us, says so much about the work that he's doing on himself and how much he believes that things can be better if we all get our shit together and start valuing people as individual human lives in this country. I think it's really easy when we talk about war in this country to otherize the problem, to place blame outside of ourselves on our institutions, on the individuals that end up fighting our wars. And it's conversations like these that make that impossible, that break apart those barriers and make it clear that we're dealing with human beings on the other side of the war and human beings on our side of the war, and that it is not simple to boil down or try to place blame in this kind of conversation. We're culpable as a culture. Let's start there. We're culpable as a country and a society in the values that we uphold and participate in as consumers and voters, and if we can start from there, understand that we're all in this shit together, let's open ourselves to the complex human experiences that the individual people are having as components of this much bigger story about war. It's important to do that on the other side, certainly with the people that we're thinking of as our enemies, and I'm using air quotes here, enemies. And it's important that we do that with the people on our side who are fighting these fights, who end up in these situations when they're children. Oh my goodness, gets me riled up. I really and truly believe that this is how community happens, and this is the kind of sharing that has to happen in order for us to implement the changes that we need so badly, so that we stop treating people this way on all sides of war, that we stop thinking that this is a viable option for our society. If you are a friend of cannabis, this is one to invite her in on. She's an old, deep friend of Huey's, and this is a conversation to hold in her spirit of non-judgment, openness, and a willingness to be changed by what you hear. Thank you, Huey. Thank you for letting your experience be the resource for all of us. That's a brave and beautiful thing, just like you.
Cool.
Yeah, good.
So yeah, what stuff did you want to try and go over?
Well, would you be down to tell the story kind of how you ended up in the military and some of your observations from that?
I guess if you like.
I mean, to your point earlier, I don't know too many people with an origin story like yours.
I mean, look, honestly, I think shit what led up to that for me is everyone says it's a choice. And that's not necessarily true when you think about it. At least for me in particular, it's definitely not the case. Because I certainly did not choose to be 17 years old without a fucking option. I certainly didn't choose that. But that's exactly what happened. Now, the reason why I had no option, like I said, that's honestly the big story, really. I mean, yeah, I don't mind talking about how I got there. Some of those stories of me growing up, yeah, they're brutal, but admit it, they're entertaining. That's the thing. It's you don't want to laugh at it because oh, it's fucked up, but holy shit, they strapped you guys together, made you beat the fuck out of it? Yes, dude. On some Conan shit. You could have played that track from fucking start, da 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 da, and you just have these two fucking 8, 9-year-old black boys beating the shit out of each other because their daddies were cousins growing up and they grew up like brothers, and for some odd reason, that means that their children were like their personal Pokemon. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just one. That's just one little droplet there, but it was crazy, to me. I sure as fuck didn't have a choice. My parents totally fucking did. They totally fucking did. What I mean by that is this. After I was born, my mom had an option. She could have been a mom, in her mind, or she could finish her degree, get her master's, advance her career. That's what she did. Do I blame her for that now? No, because I'm grown. I've let that shit go. And honestly, come on, there are too many of us that cling to that kind of shit and that let that kind of rule their lives, Mom made her decision to advance her career. Dad wanted to be a dad until I was too light-skinned, so I couldn't have been his. It's impossible. So what does that leave? It leaves my grandma to step up and do it. So what do we have now at 31? We have a mom that's pretty much like your sister, and a dad that preaches the gospel of Marvin Gaye's dad. I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. That's this man's philosophy. His other philosophy is that having a child entitles you to being taken care of by that child, regardless of your impact on that child's life. In other words, he graced me with life. And therefore, I owe him. I owe him everything because of that. That's his current mentality. Now, when I'm 7 years old, that wasn't it. No, that was not the schmooze at all. No, at 7 years old, my dumb ass made a horrific mistake. And that mistake was I asked him, why don't we go to church anymore? He's like, whenever I spend the weekend at your house, we don't get to go to church. I was like, well, I don't want to go to hell and my cousins make fun of me about enough shit. Okay? I don't want them to keep making fun of me for shit. Please. Why aren't we going to church anymore? It's just, I really need to know. This motherfucker finishes his bud that he's chugging. My dad was just the most amazing caricature of a 90s dad ever. Like, oh my God, if anybody ever let me do an animated series about this man, I fucking would. He's like the anti-Hank Hill. Like, any wholesomeness that Hank Hill has, negate that by like 10,000, and you've got my dad, right? This man is a total sociopath. So this dude finishes off that first one, pops open another one that he has me get out, has me fish it out for him. He takes a drag off his cigarette, and like in like the most like Sam L fashion you can think of, he looks at me, blows smoke out, and goes, because that whole thing is bullshit. That's why. Because it's a waste of my motherfucking Sunday. I don't want to wake up that goddamn early to sit there and play pretend and shit. I'm gonna go ahead and rip this Band-Aid off. When you're dead, you're dead, that's it. You are motherfucking worm food. And that is all. You don't become anything else. You die, you meet, that's it. Saving you some pain. He's like, that's why we don't go, because it's a waste of my goddamn time. Now don't ask me about that shit no more. He goes back to driving way too goddamn fast for somebody that's had about 4 beers at this point. And oh, believe me, I shut the fuck up the rest of that car ride. Like, I didn't say shit. We got back to my granny's house. He let me out. You know, walked by my biological mom. Hey, Paula. She's getting ready to go out on a date. All right, cool. She's getting in an argument with my dad about something. Okay, I don't know why. Like, bro, you dated her for like 2 seconds and knocked her up. It's whatever, man. Go away. Please leave. And I just went to bed. It was business as usual. But then, you know, from that point on, like literally that point on, I think that's what led to me winding up signing that fucking contract. Like literally, like from that day forward, because dude ruined everything. Like he ruined everything by doing that. Like,
what do you mean?
Well, shit, everything was bullshit. Like, if you can imagine being a 7-year-old nihilist, like nothing mattered, dude. Like nothing mattered because we're all worm food. It was literally my perspective for like ever. Like a 7-year-old trying to sleep, can't sleep at night because what if being dead's like when you're asleep, it's just nothing. It's just black. You just don't even know it. You won't even know if you die. Well, fuck. Now I'm a 7-year-old with insomnia. So I'm a 7-year-old now who is totally engrossed in, oh my God, I'm gonna die, and has such bad anxiety about it that he can't fucking sleep at night. So I stay up till like, dark 30 in the middle of the night, watching documentaries on like PBS and Discovery Channel and shit about world-ending catastrophes all the time, because that's what they aired all the time then. It was always stuff about how the Andromeda Galaxy was on a collision course with ours and how it was going to be like an intergalactic train wreck and everything would be instantly vaporized. And I'm just like, yeah, and then there'd be nothing. Fuck.
So
wow, that sucks.
What promise did they sell you when you signed up that felt like a reprieve from that?
Well, see, that's just it. The promise was that I got to friggin' eat. Like, I mean, like, I was still with my grandma then, so I still had my granny. So I was like, you know, after a while it was like, you know, nothing else matters. You know, my parents suck, but I got my mom. I started calling her my mom and stuff like that, you know. Really, most of my negative things in my life growing up were like my dad related. Like the little pit fighting with my cousins thing. Like it was extensions of that shit too. Like we were either strapped together having to fucking hit each other with boxing gloves till one of us got knocked the fuck out or until there was blood. Or they were having us race up and down the block over and over and over again like little greyhounds trying to, you know. So it's like basically you're forcing a really friendly kid to be hyper competitive. So I was forced to project hyper competitiveness all the time and shit because You want them to be proud of you, because that's all a kid knows. All a kid is shown all the time, and this is when you, like, we're talking, this is a dice roll if the dude would show up, right? So, like, every fucking time this dude says he's on his way, it's a 10-sided dice roll, but I made sure that I waited. Right? I would always wait. Sitting there, 8, 10 hours the entire day. Imagine being a child and wasting your Saturday. This is your one day, and you're wasting your Saturday because you don't want to miss him. Because what if he comes and you're not there? So you got that combined with the fact that your granny's your mom. She works nights, so she's sleeping right now. Or she's at hospice working. Well, your mom's either on a date or she's locked in that fucking office and you're not allowed to talk to her when she's doing that. So you're literally just sitting there by yourself all Saturday with like cartoons going in the background while you're sitting there by a window. This is not a way that a kid should spend their Saturdays. That is a terribly lonely way for anybody to spend anything. So whenever I was with him, it was something shitty like that. Link up with his girlfriend and her kid, which turns out her youngest daughter ends up being his daughter. And go figure. I mean, she looked enough like him and everything, so. And he was very overprotective of her. So this kid is my sister, and I don't even know. This kid is allowed to kick the crap out of me. This kid is allowed to beat the shit out of me, but if I raise a hand to defend myself, oh, you little pussy, you gonna hit a girl? Beat the shit out of me like I'm a grown man, right? It's basically from like 7 to like 10 when I actually spent time with him on those rare occasions. Sometimes I go months without seeing him, right? It was always some shitty, traumatic shit like that. So I ended up clinging really hard to my grandma. So you fast forward the clock like 4 years and then my grandma gets diagnosed with terminal cancer. So my grandma, who never was really big into church or anything like that, you know, she was always a really hard-working woman, which is why she became such a huge boon to me. Because I'm like, you know, I never see her like sitting there worrying about praying and shit. She lives her life. She works hard. She gets out there. She takes care of me. And I was that weird-ass kid that acknowledged that he was a weird-ass kid, okay? Like, I acknowledged it was weird. Like, some of the fucked up things my dad did to me, maybe I warranted it, maybe I didn't, okay? Went fishing once. I caught 2 bass, and he's like, all right, well, you know, you caught them, so what do you want to do with them? And I think he expected me to say, eat them, or get them made into a trophy. I want to keep them as a pet. I don't want to let them go. I think they're neat. I was that fucking kid. I thought it'd just be neat to have pet bass. So he's like, what the fuck? Okay, well, you want to do that shit? Fine. But you got to get a tank for him. You got to get all this other shit for him. So, you know, he's like, I'll just make it impossible for him to achieve it. But nay, fuck you. I was a little go-getting piece of shit. I'm mowing lawns. There was a garage sale. The lady down the street really liked me anyway. She had a fucking aquarium anyway. She let me buy the aquarium. So I get everything for him. I even get some fucking plants from like the lake and stuff. And I get like little gravel and everything and mud underneath it. So I try to make it home for him. Get a little filter so it cycles the water out. But I don't think a lot of like 9-year-olds put that much work into that kind of shit, right? And I move my little guys in there. You know, I feed them little bugs that I find and stuff like that. And little pieces of bacon and stuff. You know, maybe a week goes by. And I'm inside watching cartoons. And he comes in and goes, hey, did you check on your fish? And I said, yeah, I already fed them. So I'll go back to watch TV. So this asshole throws some firecrackers underneath the ottoman that I'm sitting on. They blow the fuck up. So I jump up, I scream. And then he goes, hey! And I look up, my ears are ringing and shit, and this fucker's holding my fish in plastic fucking bags. I got your fish! Guess who's coming over for dinner? And he throws them into the freezer, slams the freezer shut. I'm freaking out. I'm crying like a little, you know, in his eyes, a little wuss, but I guess now as a grown man, I'm like, no, I'm crying like a traumatized child who just watched his pets. Doesn't have any friends. I had my pets that he just murdered. Now go mow the fucking lawn. So needless to say, I just didn't like going over there much. And just started doing other things. You know, hanging with my grandma more, which turns out I'm very grateful for that. Like I said, she gets diagnosed with cancer. I'm like 13, 14. So bonus points, I get to learn how to drive early because there was nobody to take her to those appointments. Losing friends left and right, by the way. The few little friends I did acquire as a teen. Turns out you're not nearly as cool anymore when you can drive, but you won't drive people places. I'm sorry, guys, I can't drive everyone over to so-and-so's house so we can all hang out because I have to take care of this. Yeah. So I ended up taking care of my grandma for the next 3 years. But the shitty thing is, my grandma, like I said, she was never a religious woman. And she went from, you know what, baby, I'm gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this together. We'll be all right. That was always the thing. You know, me and you against the world, we'll be all right. And let me tell you the mind fuck of watching her go from we're gonna make it through this to it's all right, baby. God will take care of you. No matter what happens to me, God will take care of you. You're a good boy. The Lord will take care of you. And it was the most fucked up thing for me to watch because she would go to these, you know, the church gatherings and stuff, and I'd be there with her, but I didn't believe any of it. Any of it. Like, I'm there because she's there, and I'm there because it makes her feel good, and I'm fucking humming along to the hymns, and I'm going to the classes, and I'm doing all because it made her feel good. It made her feel better. And when her feeling better wasn't enough, and you know, she starts dying anyway, shit, at that point, I'm even like, oh man, look, if you do exist, if you are fucking real, please, man, just save my mom. Fuck, man, please don't throw me to one of these assholes. Please don't take my mom, dude, please. And it's like, I'm over here begging and begging and begging, and then it hits me how fucked up religion is. Because I'm begging some shit I don't even believe in for a woman that, after all the shit I've been through in my life, yeah, my mom chose her career over me. My dad, you know, chose being whatever the fuck he is over me. But my grandma, she never chose any selfish shit over me before as a kid. And I guess it fucked me up that the one time my grandma chose something over me, it was to die. Like, it's a fucking choice. Yes, she had cancer, but damn, man, she wasn't fighting nearly as hard. She wasn't nearly as worried about keeping up with her medication and going to therapy and stuff when she started praying and shit. She didn't worry about it as much. She didn't stay on top of it as much. And then eventually that faith became nothing. She died anyway. She died weak, she died sick, and this was after she went into remission. And then she got all loose on and lax on that, and then she ends up passing away. People in the church like, well, chemotherapy is really experimental anyway, and, you know, you should be careful doing that, and, you know, we're going to make sure we pray for you more, and, you know, that kind of stupid shit. And because of that stupid shit, I feel I lost my mother. Because it was easier to just go, if I just die, I won't be in pain, and I'll be in heaven forever, and I know my baby will be okay. He's a good boy. God will take care of him. It was easier to do that than fight anymore. And I know that might sound really callous, like, oh man, how could you say that? That's fucked up. But I was a child, and she was all I had. After her, there was my dog, and that was it. And in my eyes, she went from, we're gonna get through this together, to, you'll be okay, God will take care of you. Just like he's taking care of me right now, while she withers the fuck away. So she dies, I'm 17, I'm with my dad for a few months, goes terrible. Like, I stopped going to school and shit, because I just hate this dude. I just don't like him. He's like, God damn it, dude, I avoided you for like, smooth, like 6 years. Why the fuck am I here? It sucks. I was an angry and toxic kid because I was pissed off all the time, drinking, smoking, all that. And it gets to the point where I'm like, man, fuck it. I want to try and test out of school, because fuck this shit. So that's what I do. I go test out. I go to like Phoenix High School, which is that like magnet charter school over in Gwinnett County, and I test out a fucking school there. It's not about being smart, it's just that this is all common sense shit, and I'm tired of this. And it turns out, when you're a teenager that talks like an adult, people tend to be like, oh, fuck, well, all right. Get him the fuck out of here before he gets the others talking about this shit. And I leave. Head on back down to Orlando, and I'm like, hey, Dad, I'm back. I tested out of school, figure I could. He goes, here's what I figure you can do. You can either go to school, or you can get the fuck out of this house, join the military. That's what you can do. And I'm like, what? No, I was thinking I'd just find a job, you know, maybe I'll carry mail like you did or something. And he's like, no, you are either gonna go to school or you're gonna go to the fucking army. And I'm like, okay, well, how am I gonna afford school? And he's like, no, you need to figure that shit out. I'm like, so wait, you don't have a college fund or anything for me? I can't. So how am I supposed to go to school? Oh, yeah, you're literally telling me I have to join the army, aren't you? It's literally what that was. It was not, oh, go there or go to school. No, it was, well, I can't pay for you to go to school, and you can either do that or join the army, but you ain't staying here. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess I'm joining the fucking army then. Now let me tell you, nobody understood why I joined the army. The little girlfriend I had at the time said I was selfish and fucking evil for joining. And 17, go to basic. First day of fucking training's on my birthday. And, you know, when we first got there, they had us fill out all these little things like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? What's something you aspire to be? What was a career choice you aspire to be? So anyway, I wrote I wanted to be a comedian down there. And, well, that was the worst decision I'd ever made. So, first day of training was my birthday. I had written that I want to be a stand-up comedian. Yeah. Oh. So, this drill sergeant goes, oh, you know, wait, you know, come in here, man. You know, I know we give y'all a hard time. They were. I mean, they literally fucking made us do push-ups to the point where there was condensation coming off the goddamn ceiling. And he's like, man, come here. You know, I know we're rough on y'all a lot, but, you know, we read y'all's little profiles, and Jackson here, man, he fancies himself a real jokester, man. He wants to be a stand-up comedian. And he goes, so you know what, Jackson? Make me laugh, and I'll order pizza for everybody in here if you make me laugh. He's like, and I'll give you 3 chances to make me laugh. He's like, you got 1 time in this phase, 1 time in the second phase, 1 time in the final phase to make me fucking laugh. He's like, but if you fail, I'm gonna smoke the shit out of y'all from the moment I order the pizza for my own fat ass to the time I finish eating the last fucking crumb of crust. He's like, all right, Joker, get up in front and make everybody fucking laugh. So I do my best. Oh man, I do my best. I tell the story about me and my cousins playing Rock'em Sock'em fucking robots courtesy of my dad's sick-ass idea. How they used to bet on us like motherfucking pit bulls. I pointed out the fact that they literally had a mason jar of petty change and cash and shit, IOUs and everything. It was like a swear jar for these little kid pit fights that these assholes would throw. And I'm over here pitching this to these guys, and I'm throwing it out there, and I'm doing my fucking best and shit, and being real extra about it, and all the other privates and shit, they're laughing. Even the other 2 drill sergeants are laughing, yes! But not the motherfucker that made the bet. And he just smirks, and I'm like, oh. It's like, I think I got you. And he goes, no, I got you, because I think it's funny as hell that I know for a fact I get to watch you die in the next hour. And I'm like, oh, well, it sucks. I thought I was killing it, but it turns out I was dying up here. And then he chuckled, and then I went, ha! And I shouldn't have went, ha. Because then he threw me into a fucking wall locker. And then he goes, I got a joke for you, funny boy. Knock, knock. And I'm like, who's there? And he slammed the door shut and he says, happy fucking birthday! And kicks the wall locker over. So then the wall locker falls. It hits the wall locker behind that. Then the wall locker behind that. Trashes the entire bay. And he's like, well, God damn it, Jackson. You didn't have to try to bring the fucking house down to prove a point. Now you've ruined the entire bay. You've disrespected the sanctity of our home. Dude proceeds to just rib me while I'm still in the wall locker, by the way. And I had to yell all of my responses, otherwise he acted like I was ignoring him, and I could hear him making everybody do exercises outside while he's yelling. It was terrible. I felt like I had failed everybody. I'm like, my dad was right, I am not funny. All of my fears have come true on the first day. And then he's like, get the fuck out of here, suffer with your fucking brethren. And I was like, okay, cool. I am here where I belong, suffering amongst my brethren. But the fucked up thing is, I got branded with the nickname Joker forever. And the thing is, he kept stacking extra shit on me too. Like, oh yeah, you go in this radio class. You got to program radios and shit. Oh yeah, don't forget. I didn't forget. Oh, we're going to do it on pizza night too. So you're going to have to sing for your fucking supper, asshole. Like, dude tormented me.
So they're just fucking with you the whole
the
time.
entire fucking time. All because I was an idiot and wrote, I want to be a comedian. So I'm writing letters home in some desperate attempt to get some kind of human interaction from the living, from outside this place. I never got mail. Like, I never got mail. Everybody else is like, they would go down the line, you know. Everybody's name's getting called. And it got to the point where it was like a meme before memes were really a thing. And he'd get to my bunk and he'd look at me and go, and keep walking. That kind of shit. But it wasn't just me. There were other people that didn't get mail. But he was like, yeah, those saps that never get fucking mail do push-ups. When everybody else gets to chill for 30 minutes before bed, I get to do fucking push-ups. It's like, yeah, you get to do that because nobody loves you. And clearly, you're too ugly to be loved. So we're at least going to make sure you're strong and physically beautiful. So maybe your ugly mug will finally get you some fucking attention in life. And it's like, oh, thank you. That's a wonderful thing to tell a 17-year-old. Thank you so much. So then after that, I'm like, okay, here we go. So I do my advanced individual training, which wasn't nothing, and everybody was a new group of people, so I wasn't even with that first group of people, thank God. But I got the same drill sergeants again. So once again, the clown foolery of me trying to make this asshole laugh, and these other poor bastards getting tortured for reasons they do not understand. So they hate my guts. Get through that, get through AIT, end up getting shipped off to 3rd ID. And that's when all the deployments and all that fun shit. But there's literally no, why did I do this? Because I did not choose to. Like, it was a landslide of shit from the day I popped out that literally led to me having to enlist. And it's like, I'm already fucked up. Now I'm really fucked up. Because now I'm just in this environment where, yeah, it turns out there aren't a lot of other black dudes in the infantry. And it turns out the other black people in the army still don't want to hang out with me, just like the ones in school didn't. So, yeah, I was alienated as fuck. And I was either surrounded by dudes that were constantly passively racist, or, and not even passively sometimes, like some people just ask me some of the most racist shit. Like, yo, Jackson, have you had the chicken today? They got fried chicken in there. I know you're the fucking expert on that shit. You know, the average white dude thinks that shit's hilarious. And then to a degree, I'm even like, stereotypes are funny. But at the same time, I'm like, bro, every time you see me though, like, all right, I could chuckle at the occasional stereotype, just like I was like, yeah, man, you love it. The breasts were dry and had no seasoning. You fucking enjoy it. It's great. Because again, oh man, the lima beans were nice and half cooked and shit. Your mom would be proud. It's like, yeah, man, broccoli with nothing to season it but nacho cheese sauce. Just like the trailer park cafeteria would recommend on a nightly basis, I'm sure. You know, so I'd fire back the best I could, but you know, at the end of the day, when you're a 5'10" black kid surrounded by a bunch of, 20-something angry corn-fed country boys, one too many rebel flag burning jokes doth get your ass beat.
Why do you think most of them were there?
Serving their country for the love of their country. They love their country, blah, 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 blah. But, and a lot of them, though, I honestly just think like killing shit. I mean, I was in the infantry, dude. A lot of them just like killing shit. Like, I'll just be honest, a lot of them just did. It was a hunting trip for some of them, man. It was fucked up. Like, I watched people that I thought were really cool guys just kind of turn into like these trophy collecting, like they were walking around acting like they were Predator. Like, god damn, like do we really lose ourselves that bad over here? And it's like, you can't do anything but try and blend in, because fuck, I've seen what happens to people that don't. And it's like, oh man, I might be brave when it comes to protecting people I give a shit about, but oh man, I'm not gonna risk it all when I don't have nobody in my corner either. So it's like, nah, I was complacent to you know, some shit and seeing some shit that I know was fucking wrong, but what am I supposed to do? It's like I'm literally one dude. It's like I'm one dude that nobody necessarily likes either by default, so I have nobody to talk to about it, so I'm not gonna, you know? But no, a lot of them just, they liked it. Especially in the infantry, they liked what they did. Me, I was a dumbass 17-year-old kid. I didn't know how to read a contract. That's why I'm here. With them, these are all dudes in their 20s, late 20s, mid 20s. They've been doing this shit since they were 18, 19, 20, and they just really like shooting and killing shit. You know, they compare, you know, fighting Afghans to, you know, shooting deer and shit, you know? And it's like, that's fucked up, but it's true. For me, it's not that I enjoyed it, it's that it was my job. And that's how I had to view it. It's like, this is my job. I had to kind of disassociate them from being, as fucked up as it sounds, people. And it's like, okay. That's literally it. It's like, they're not people at that point. It's, I'm doing my job, I'm paid to be here, and yeah, that's about it. So that's really as far as my thought pattern went when I was in there. It's like, okay, what are we doing today? All right, that sounds fucking horrific. I'm glad I'm not them. You know, it was fucked up to get that stupid, unfortunate nickname and then basically be that person that, at this point, like, keep in mind, from the age of 7, no Santa Claus, no Easter Bunny, none of that shit, right? Magic's dead. So here I am going, yep, a whole lot of people gonna die. That's gonna be great. Yeah, all right, yeah, ooh. I hated it. Like I did, and I admit that I hated that. But man, I projected that I didn't. Man, that was so much false motivation, so much projecting while I was over there that I was there and happy to do my job. And the only thing I was glad for is that for the first time in my life, after a while, I was just finally just one of the group. You know, until the occasional really racist motherfucker had to say something or had to point something out, or somebody did something racist, like I wake up with a couple of unit patches Velcroed to my hair. Yeah. That kind of dumb shit, you know. But for the most part, I blended in, everything went okay. But that was really the only benefit to me. I'm not friends with any of those guys anymore. I don't talk to any of them. None of them talk to me. It was just this chapter of my life where I went through a lot of it really just pretending like I was totally okay with a lot of the shit I was doing. And I realized I was literally only there because I didn't have a fucking choice.
I feel like in movies there's this story of like brotherhood and all of that. Is that?
Yeah, and there was for them. I just wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
Like, no, people thought I was funny. Like, that was at least the good thing. Yeah, I got that stupid-ass nickname, but it fit because I was always the one cracking jokes. Like, we could literally have just gotten blown up, and I make a dumbass pun about it. But it's almost like I feel like it's a reflex for me. Like, it's almost an impulse. Like I can't even control it, really. And it's like, a lot of times I'm like, man, shut the fuck up. And it's like, oh, well, you know. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to rattle your bones, but I, for one, had a fucking blast. However, I'm not so happy about it because I think I have yet another concussion. Hey, look, guys, brain goo. Yes! You know, that kind of shit. Which is what I did. That's how I made it through it. This is the only way it made sense. It's the only way it made sense. Like, holy shit, dude, we just blew up like half a fucking village. Why are y'all celebrating that? Like, yeah, woo. It's like, in my head, I'm like, why are you all so happy about this? But it's like, it's not like when I went out there, I was like scared and shit myself. No, I did my job. But god damn it, the celebrating afterwards. And the happily regaling each other with how I killed this guy. That's why when I see people doing that in public, I know a lot of people like to call them out and be like, yeah, bullshit. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine, dude. If you're that proud of that to the point where people think you're lying about it, go right the fuck ahead. Yo, you want some dumbass stories? Here, take some of mine. You know, I don't want that shit. I wish I had more fun stories. Like, I think the only one I have is like one time our medic had to take a projectile shit in the middle of a firefight. So we were literally covering for the guy while he took like the most, and when I say projectile, I mean like a hydrant coming out of the back end of this dude on the front door of some poor Afghan family's little house. And it was like, well, fuck me, dude. Here's some wet wipes. Like, you know, and he's like, not to be the shit end of the stick of this situation, man, but you just gave me a whole buttload of material. And I promise you guys, it ain't gonna be shitty this time, all right? Yeah, that's right. No more crap jokes. Top tier S class, man. I found the golden fucking cornflake turd of fucking humor forever. A well of it, if you will. A chocolate fountain of jokes, and it just happens to have erupted out of our medic's ass. Thank you so much, sir. You've made my life so wonderful. I appreciate the fuck out of you. You know, I'm saying all this while we're getting shot at, and I'm laying down rounds and shit because I'm like, this is ridiculous. We're sitting here in a circle of wagons formation around a man who was popping a squat in front of somebody's door. Like, if I were them, I'd be trying to murder my ass too. I'm like, what if you're the dude whose door is getting sprayed by a fat American's projectile shit? This man and his flatulence and his inability to clench his cheeks and turtle like a true man would in the face of adversity have once again led me astray. God damn you, we're all going to die because you just had to have one more fucking slice of bacon this morning, didn't you? And we're all gonna die. So that's all going on in my head, but I'm popping off every shit joke and pun that I could fucking think of. It's like, man, I just, it was the entire experience was I don't want to be here. Mm-hmm. It's like there was no brotherhood for me. There was no, yo, man, we're all going out to drink. No. There was one friend I had, but then people started making these Shrek and Donkey jokes about us because I was a short black dude, but in comparison to him, he's 6'8", big ass fucking white guy, and I'm like, compared to him, 5'10", I'm fucking tiny. So I'm like, God damn it, I prefer Joker over Donkey. God damn it, this sucks.
Did you feel like you were out there, like, I mean, your life is in danger. Did you feel like you were protected or like there was a team? I
mean, like, I feel like they do their job because if you blatantly didn't do your job, then that's a war crime. Like, that's kind of really the only solace I had. Like, the only kind of friend I had, me and him used the same weapon system. So he was never right next to me. He was always on the other side of shit doing whatever the fuck his weapon squad had him doing. So we were never right next to each other, so I was always depending on other people. And everyone says their squad leader's a dick, but no, man, my squad leader was a dick. Like, he was a fucking asshole. Like, it's like I got one of those punchable faces, I guess, so. Dude did not like me. So any chance he had to make me have to do extra shit or fuck with me, he took.
What about the reason that y'all were there? Like, did you have a sense of the purpose of all of the war?
Yeah, man. Oil. Fuck. Like, what do you mean? Had us burning poppy fields and shit. I was like, you know, we're doing a good thing. Because 70% of the world's fucking opioids come out of this fucking hellhole. And I'm burning up your... Hey, bitch! I'm burning your fields! And we fucked up once. We burnt one field and we ended up burning down a barn. That barn was full of marijuana. So it was like, oh shit, contact high, cool. And a firefight breaks out because we burnt down some dude's barn. And it was like, you know, yeah, okay, we're burning the opioid fields and we're burning the poppy fields, cool. But nah, not the weed. I felt bad. I did not feel too bad because I felt really good during that. But, you know, so it's like, yeah, we're over burning down poppy fields and then these other dudes are coming from like the Air Force to like survey shit. And I'm like, oh, why do y'all need to survey anything? Oh, yeah, that's why. So it's like, dude, we were there for resources and shit, man. That's, you know, maybe when I was 17, I bought into the whole, we're here because of what they did on 9/11. And I was like, yeah, I remember being forced to fucking watch that torture porn on loop all day when I was in school, in fucking middle school. Like when you're in fucking 7th or 8th grade, I can't remember, 7th or 8th grade. Sitting there watching that shit on loop all fucking day. Who does that to their kids? Like, who the fuck does that? All day on loop. We didn't learn shit. And it never got any better from there. Like, So it's like, I'm like, yeah, I get why we're here, because an entire generation of us was traumatized one day. And these motherfuckers owe us. These motherfuckers went south on the deal. So here we are, fucking hitmen. Like, you know, at the time I was deluding myself. Like I said, I was hyper projecting, so I was just like, yeah, yo, we're here because they done fucked up, because they evil bastards. We gonna get them for that bullshit. We gonna get them for that 9/11 bullshit, man. Fuck them. Fuck them. I referred to every Middle Eastern person as a haji. I was twitchy as fuck around anybody. I was wearing a burqa and shit. It was terrible. I was a terrible, toxic ass fucking person because of that shit, and I hated it. Like, granted, I came out the army not liking white people at all by default. Like, because I got treated like shit by them the entire time.
Did you not feel that way before?
Not even. Because it's just, I didn't trust anybody growing up. And then when I'm out here on my own, just people being dicks left and right. All that camaraderie and brotherhood, yeah, for them. Me, fuck me, because I have a problem with them wanting to spray a rebel flag on the side of our trucks. I don't want to ride in that shit. I'll walk. I'm like, no, I'll walk. Fuck that. I don't want to ride in nothing that's got that shit on it. You know. And then they accuse me of raising a big stink over nothing. And anybody that says that kind of shit doesn't happen, yeah, the fuck it does. Accuse you of raising a big stink over nothing. Nah, it's no big deal. That's heritage to a lot of the people here. You know, we a bunch of Georgia boys. This is our heritage. I'm like, yeah, heritage to a bunch of fucking losers. I'm like, they lost. I'm like, that's traitor shit. You guys literally lost. It's literally traitor shit. Why you want a traitor's flag on the side of your fucking vehicles, you fucking hypocrites? Like, it's like you talk about doing shit for a noble reason, and you literally are rocking a piece of a traitor's flag. Let's not even get into the fact that so many of them think that's the entire flag because they're that stupid. But, you know, whatever. So you deal with that, and then you get out, and you're like, all right, so they're all pricks, and here we are, you know.
How's your heart now? How has it been like learning trust and...
See, I guess the one thing I did have a benefit of is family was kind of a optional thing growing up for me. I was like, there's really no such thing as familial ties. You know, people that show you that they're good people that show you that you can depend on them, people that show you that you can care for them. Those are the people that you look out for. You don't just look out for somebody because they're blood to you, because they could be blood to you, but they could be a total piece of shit, you know? But people that actually step up and that actually have your back and they're actually good to you, you take care of them. You know, the one thing that I know that I've done too much in the past, and that's why I'm grateful that I have, you know, friends like Chris and you know, CJ and whatnot now, is because, you know, I don't ever want anyone to feel like I did. Like from a child through the army, I was pretty much by myself. Never really felt like I had friends, and a lot of times when people are talking about religion and hope and faith, and I would just nod my head and agree with them. And I think that was one of the biggest things I've had a problem with, is like, I tell people the truth and they get really pissed. Because for some odd reason, you know, when we were growing up, a lot of examples of friendship we had were really negative. The best friend characters growing up on TV were always really mean, like talking shit to each other, getting each other into really bad situations, backstabbing each other, and it was literally every day, but they always made up at the end. So we started treating our friends like that in real life. We started doing people like that in real life. And it was like, man, you couldn't be the only kid telling them the truth, because for some odd reason, that's not supportive. The only way you can support somebody now is just nod your head and go, yeah, you're right. Dude, yeah, no, I totally agree. You're never even allowed to have an opinion different, or just tell someone, dude, I don't think that's a good idea. You're just not allowed to. You're not a supportive person if you ever tell them you don't think that's a good idea. Yeah. So.
What happened physically when you were in the military, like with the concussions?
Oh man, no, it was just from getting blown the fuck up and rattled around. That's really all there is to say about that. Like, I got knocked around a bunch, and then they were like, yo, we just really don't recommend that you keep doing active duty infantry, man. Like, you know, why don't you try recruiting? Or And I'm like, nah, dude, I don't want to do that. So you want to join the National Guard, the reserves or something? Nah, man, I don't want to do that either. Like when I was first going to enlist, it was going to be for the National Guard, but then they guilt tripped me into saying that that's for pussies. Why would you want to do that? You know, why don't you just go active? You know, you could, you know, fuck it, man. We've seen your fucking family life. You know, you don't get no mail. You don't got nobody. Why don't you just, you know, come on. So I did it.
So what has life been like since then, and what's your dream now?
I mean, well, it's been a challenge, mostly because I've just been trying to relearn how to be, you know, especially because this is the first time where I've been in the position where I'm like, well, I've detached myself from all that old stuff, and I don't really have anybody in my face trying to tell me, you know, who to be or how to live anymore. So I just get to live. You know, granted, I moved here for stupid reasons, you know, Macon in particular. Romance is never a smart reason to relocate, and that's a lesson that I just had to learn the hard way. But I'm just trying to help people at this point, because this city is in bad shape.
Yeah, what do you want to do here?
Yeah, I mean, so far I'm working with Chris and the Madvocates to try and actually bring some of that artistry heritage that Macon was once known for back. I mean, like, it has a rich music history. It really does. But it's like so many things can be done here for so many people. It's like there's so much space downtown for us to actually give people a place to go and see all these unique artists and their takes on music and media. Because we have tons of incredibly talented rappers here. We have tons of DJs that just have some beautiful mixes that they're able to make and stuff. You know, we have burlesque troupes here. We need somebody to give a shit about the guys coming up behind us, because nobody gave a fuck about us. Like, the 90s generation was, fuck, man, we were so grown. Like, it's ridiculous how, you know, we get called so many terrible things by our parents' generation, but they seem to forget that they barely fucking raised us. Like, yeah, you're right, we don't know how to do a lot of shit. Kind of like y'all didn't teach us any of it. Like, and the fucked up thing is, the generation before us, they were handed businesses, they ran them into the ground. They were handed tons of money, spent it all. Cars, houses, you name it. Your parents ain't leaving you shit. You know your parents ain't got shit to leave you. Like, but your grandparents left them shit. Your parents ain't gonna leave you with nothing but fucking debt. Meanwhile, they're telling you don't have a clue how to live your fucking life. That don't make no fucking sense. That doesn't make any fucking sense. And then the people among us that have already had kids, there are some that aren't like our parents at all, but there are some of them that have just passed that curse straight the fuck on down, and they're browbeating the fuck out of their kids and forcing them to help them raise their siblings and dumb shit like that no child should be fucking made to do. So it's like, I want to try and bring light to, look, we get where y'all come from, because everybody in this group is different. Everybody envelops something different. Everybody has their own story, their own unique vibe, their own unique presence, their own unique style of bringing that presence to fruition. And it's like, we're surrounded by copy and paste, like almost like conveyor belt produced motivation and hero imagery and stuff like, for example, the Marvel movies. Yeah, everybody thinks Black Panther and Captain America and Iron Man are the shit, right? They love them. But the thing is, it's like, yeah, what do they embody though? What example do they set for you? What do they motivate in you to do? Nothing. It's just big, loud, boomy entertainment to distract you while Rome burns. Meanwhile, people that are out there actually trying to do shit, actually trying to save this world, trying to help people, they get made to look like loonies for trying to do it. They get called crazy for it. Meanwhile, we're over here trying to get a festival together in less than a month because we have that many people lined up that want to give something back and want to show that Macon is more than just poverty and infighting and people fighting over shit that Section 8 housing and shit that the state owns. People killing each other over fucking Section 8. People robbing each other and shit in those fucking hellholes. It's ridiculous. Meanwhile, everything around them is being bought the fuck up and they're slowly getting moved the fuck out because everything's been fought over and it's so dilapidated and barely cared for that they're forced to leave. And then shit gets bought up underneath their feet. Then they're relocated somewhere else. And then the cycle fucking continues. And we just want to break it because it's so sad how many people just think that's just their life. That's what they're born into. That's what they have to do. I'm here, I was born here, I'm gonna die here, fighting over the same fucking rocks. And it's stupid. I'm tired of cobblestones meaning more than people. I really am. Like, brick and mortar should never mean more than a fucking person's life. There are too many people that are coming up not seeing anything for themselves, and I don't want anyone to ever just be bogarted into a fucking choice like I was, where there was no choice. And a lot of these kids, it might not be the army, but fuck, the streets are just as bad as any fucking deployment. So it's like we bring this here and we show all these people from these different walks of life that aren't relying on this system, that literally have walked away from the system. We made this shit with our own hands. We made these connections ourselves, and it's proof that it can still be fucking done. It is still a fucking option, because if you sit there and you look around and you see no one else doing it, why aren't you? So it's like I sat here and I could have done two things. I could have done nothing and just been like everybody else, watched Rome burn and pretend like I was satisfied with things. Or I could do what I do and actively work to change people's lives around me and try and help those people, because I know what it feels like to not have anyone. I know what it feels like to be on your own. But if you take that feeling and you actually act on it, it's like, say, all right, I know how it feels to not have gas to get somewhere. Well, I got a few bucks. Here you go, dude. It starts with that. And you build that trust with that person, and then next thing you know, they're like, yo, I'm working on this project, and you seem to have ideas about stuff. Help me figure this shit out. And next thing you know, like I said, bam, festival. There are more churches here in Macon than anywhere else in the fucking state. And yet, we have more homeless people that have no aid and no help than anyone else. Does that make any sense to you? So it's like, you have all these men of the cloth that have all these, that have all these people, their congregations are poor people that are giving their few cents to this church that in turn is doing nothing for anybody the fuck else, at least not on a big enough scale for all these fucking churches that you have here. So it's like, wow, man. I guess I'm just gonna have to do what you guys were supposed to do, but without any Sky Dad or any of that. It's just gonna be because I don't want anyone else to ever feel like I felt. I know what it felt like to be a kid and feel like you didn't have any options, that you didn't have people to look up to because the only people around you were a bunch of assholes that didn't care about you. Meanwhile, there could be some perfect fucking stranger that doesn't know you that still thinks you at least deserve to have a world that's decent enough to be in, that you deserve to have a choice in being whoever the fuck you want to be or whatever the fuck you want to be. My only philosophy is live well by yourself and just don't be a dick. Seriously, like, live well, do a decent thing every now and again. You know, do whatever it is you want to do that makes you happy. Just make sure you're not fucking anyone else over to do it. So it's like the first step in spreading that around is, hey, well, yeah, this place is known for shooting, looting, and killing and all this other dumb violent shit. But meanwhile, here these people are saying that they were born here and they've decided to walk away from that. A culture is made from individuals that step up and try to lead it. And there could be a practical renaissance for the people here if enough attention is brought to the creative minds that come out of here, because there's so many beautiful creative minds here that just go to fucking waste because of how dark of a fucked up place, like the fucking Lovecraftian levels like of fucking evil that go on in this city is insane. Like, you've seen our cops, like, they're pathetic. Like, they're the fattest, dumpiest fuckers you've ever seen. Their bulletproof vests sit on top of their fucking belly fat. They're the dumpiest looking motherfuckers you've ever seen. It's like, man, you know, I literally just watched like somebody get robbed today in broad daylight, and here you are bothering a homeless person. Like, god damn it. And we're known for that. We're known for bumbling cops and violence. So it has to change. It's like it just has to change, because as simple as it is, no one deserves to live in a place like that. No place deserves to have that rep, especially when it's so easily fixed. My personal, hope is to open my own bar and dance hall so that I can have a personal and open venue for people to come and play their music and perform their work. Factory-produced heroes make way for local legends that came up from nothing and gave a shit about this city so much that instead of leaving it and running off to Atlanta like everybody else fucking does, they stayed and they built it up.
Fuck yeah.
It's like you can actually look up to these people. They're not on a big screen. They're literally right there in front of you. Like they exist. They're real, and their passion for this place is real. And when people see that, there's no way that they can deny it. And there's no way that they can keep turning their nose up at a place that is literally trying to be better. If you look down on it from there, you're the piece of shit. Really.
Something I was curious about, your treatment from the military since you've gotten back, like the VA, and like how do you feel about being taken care of since you've since you've been out?
Individuals and this is really all I'll say about it, man. Individuals in the VA are great. There are some people in there that are there because they really fucking care. There are people in the VA that really give a fuck. But just like there are people in the VA that really give a fuck, there are people in the VA who don't give a fuck at all. Like, there are people in there. I had one general practitioner that literally, she treated me like a fucking barcode. I came in, she gave me the default, she wouldn't sign any paperwork, she wouldn't help me with any paperwork for work or anything, doctor's notes, nothing. Just wham, bam, bam, check this, check that. Hey, you're kind of low on this, I'm gonna prescribe you this, all right, get the fuck out. I've had that, and then I've got guys like my actual therapist where he'll see me if I walk in at the right time, and he'll talk to me about things and he helps me work stuff out. He's the reason why I'm getting a service dog to help with my PTSD and stuff next year. So there are individuals in the VA that are great, but the fuckers that don't care, they are the whole reason why the system's fucked up, And it only takes like a couple of people just not giving a fuck about your situation and making you feel like they really couldn't be bothered with what you're going through to just make you be like, fuck the VA. That's why so many veterans are like, fuck the VA. That's why a guy like a couple of years ago blew his own fucking brains out in front of the place because he just couldn't get any fucking help. Like, and I know they've lost my medical records. They lost paperwork that I've submitted. I've had to fax shit in multiple fucking times to them. I've had to bring shit in person, and the VA that I have to go to, we have a clinic here in Macon, sure, but I got to drive all the way to Dublin or Atlanta. I've had to drive to Tifton to get shit, And it's like, and if you can't go, well, oh well, you're just gonna have to reschedule it, and that might be 2 and 3 months to fuck out, So it's like, there are people in there that care, and there are people in there that want to try, but oh man, the system does not fucking work. There's so many of us that need so much help, and the way they usher you out into the world, they don't really take care of you. And then like so many of us do self-harm. That's the other dumb thing, everybody has this misconception that veterans are going out and hurting other people. No, dude. No. We're our biggest threat. We're the biggest threat to ourselves. Because you go out there and you go from being super independent and feeling like a badass to sick, weak and in pain, you can't sleep, you have nightmares and shit, and you're on like 4 and 5, 6 different fucking medications, and you still can't sleep, and you're still nervous and shit, and to go from that, that peak to that low, that's such a shock for anybody. And then when some of the shit some people say to you and how they treat you, for every person that's like, oh, thank you for your service, and that kisses your ass, way too fucking much for it. For every person that kisses your ass, way too much for it. There's another person that would just as soon call you a fucking baby killer to your face, And it's like, well, you made a fucking choice. And in my experience, it's mostly been other black people that say that to me. Is that, well, you made a choice to go serve them, and I'm like, yeah, I get that, but see, if only you knew that I was 17 and didn't have a choice at the time before you started already throwing this shit at me, how I sold out to the white man and how I sold out and I'm a piece of shit and all. If only you knew why I signed that shit in the first place. I do wonder how much your perspective would fucking change. Like, if only you knew how I actually felt about while I was in, I wonder how your perspective would fucking change. But I never even get to that part because they've already made up their fucking mind. They know you for sure at that point. About how shitty you are and how you made a choice and you didn't know how to feel doing all that shit, being a hitman for oil. Blah, blah, blah. So moral. That high road. Proud of you. Really am. You're a good person. Very good person.
Also, as if we aren't all complicit in all of this bullshit just by like being Americans and like driving my fucking car every day.
Yeah, did you buy some Starbucks lately, you fucking hypocrite? Yeah, you just sitting there at Starbucks writing that book with your fucking laptop, using their Wi-Fi, third latte of the fucking day. When you deal with all that, and then you can't even see a fucking therapist to talk to anybody about it. Like, you got people at work that are like, they find out that you have PTSD or whatever because your shop steward, in my case, your shop steward's a fucking blabbermouth piece of shit, so he just talks to everybody, tells everybody everybody's business, so now everybody knows that you have PTSD, everybody knows that you have those issues. And they're all asking you questions about being in the war, and they're all asking you inappropriate questions and stuff. And you're just trying to be there to work. And a lot of them be like, oh, well, I'm just trying to make sure you don't snap on anybody or anything like that. I just want to make sure you're good. And you get that kind of treatment from people, and you're like, God damn it, I hate this shit. The VA just kind of passively treats you like crap. But fuck me, some of the things people ask you are just, like, it's not even like I'm offended or I'm hurt. It's like, man, who the fuck asks that? Who the fuck walks up to you and goes, yo, how many people did you kill? First of all, nobody that's done anything talks about that kind of shit anyway. Second of all, no. Third of all, get the fuck away from me. What the fuck's your name even? Yo, Jackson, I heard you was in the army. Yeah, so. Yo, so what was it like? It was a thing. I went through it. There were guns. There was lots of banging. More bangs, more explosions, lots of daka. Some trucks with big wheels. I definitely remember a lot of trucks with big wheels. And my head hurts a lot now and I can't sleep for shit. That's literally all I'm willing to say. That's literally all I'm willing to say to any random fucking person that asks me. Like, the people that are close to me, I talk to, I've spoken to in depth about it, but I just hate how casual people are about it. Meh.
The media, right? I mean, it's like, who knows what these people that are asking you these questions are seeing on...
Yeah, like, that's the thing, too. It's like, I don't even know if it's that. It's like, not even just because regular media is a joke, dude. I mean, come on, Fox News is literally listed as entertainment. Like, Fox News isn't even a credible news source. It's literally listed as an entertainment source. That's a category, not news. Because news is a category. CNN is still qualified as news, but CNN is so polarized that I got some land to sell you in Canada if you buy all the shit they say. In order to get the full story, you got to watch that. Then you got to watch this other news outlet. Then you got to go on BBC and research that. Then you got to go on YouTube and get a bunch of different perspectives from those people on it. Maybe they found something you ain't seen yet. And then after that, you culminate your own fucking idea on what the hell's going on. So I get it. Not everybody's going to do all that. So when the news goes, veterans are having violent outbreaks and no one seems to know why. When that kind of dumb shit happens, guess what? Suddenly I'm getting side eyes at fucking work and I can't get through the day without getting a stupid fucking question. Suddenly every look I make, every shift in my body is... I just feel like one day he's just gonna snap, you know? Like, I be hearing stories and shit. It's like, what stories? Tell me, what veteran snaps and hurts anybody else? Tell me. Usually when we snap, it's us we take out. So I don't understand. I assure you, I don't care enough about any of you to donate that much time into thinking, now how would I murder everybody?
Meanwhile, white guys are literally doing that all the time.
Yeah, like, here's, and yeah, listen, we don't even need to get into why, for some odd reason, technically, they're not terrorists under the law. They're technically just exercising their Second Amendment right. It's fucked. Like, that's really, really fucked. And then that one cop, he shot a guy during a drug raid. This is a black officer, shot a guy during a drug raid recently, and then he was fired for killing 2 drug dealers during a drug raid. He was fired for that. Wait a minute. So when the black cop kills somebody, when y'all are actually in an active raid, he's instantly fired, but this white lady that shot a guy in the wrong apartment gets hugs and hugs and, oh, poor baby, it's okay. It's only gonna be 10 years, you know? They could have given you life like you fucking should have got. They could have given you the death penalty like you fucking should have got. I have my own fucking theory about that. I'm like, look, dude, you shouldn't have been banging your crazy ass neighbor that was a fucking cop, and you shouldn't have been letting her smoke with you, is what you shouldn't have done. Because she came home drunk and was like, yo, I don't want to do anything stupid. I just want some weed, probably. And then you got shot right there after eating some fucking ice cream because she saw your new girl's bra on the fucking table or some shit, and it was a wrap. And then they tried to make you out to be a horrible person. Now the one dude that testified against you, he was killed. And we're supposed to expect these dudes drove from 2 states away to kill this guy over weed, this guy who never smoked weed, and then they left the weed. They didn't even get the weed that they killed this guy over, this man that never smoked weed. Oh, that's just a thing that happened, huh, Dallas PD? We're that stupid. That's just a thing that happened? Wow. Y'all are fucking crooks. Like that's literally, like, you're fucking hitmen. You're not cops. Like, you're fucking peace officers, my dickhole. Like, this is ridiculous. The dude spoke the truth. She got 10 years and then he died for it. So, okay, everyone's silent. Bet they'll never speak out against a white cop. No, fuck that. That's an honor to die for something like that because they proved a point. They proved a fucking point. Oh, man, don't be right. Damn, we have literal proof that these cops are abusing their power. Let's shut everyone up. Even the dude who's just a witness. I expect nobody else to ask questions. No, I love how the internet blew up with, so he's just dead, huh? Over some shit that he's never been involved with. Really? Okay. Again, that land in Canada, I assure you, it's great. You know, it's fantastic. There's waterfront, huh? Log cabin. You like logs? Come on, you look like log cabin kind of people. Little pier, huh? The moose come out and graze in the meadow. It's great. You might even get a little sneak peek of a little Canadian-looking Bambi, you know? The moose. They're just gonna be out there eating grass. It's great. I swear it exists. I mean, because if you buy that bullshit, the Dallas bullshit, I'm telling you, that land in Canada I got is fucking fantastic. You don't even gotta see pictures. I promise you you'll love it.
Well, what's it gonna take? I mean, it just gets worse and worse.
To be completely blunt, burning the motherfucker down, but I mean, it's just not being completely honest.
Yeah.
Like, to say shit you're really not supposed to say, burning the motherfucker down because nobody seems to want to listen to us. You know, we got 2 options. Wait until our parents are all too old to say anything anymore, but you've seen Bernie Sanders had a fucking heart attack and he still plans to run for fucking president. You know, granted, when Obama got elected, y'all literally were lynching effigies of him, and, you know, you had pickup trucks with, like, lynch dummies with Obama masks on them. You know, y'all were doing shit like that, but, you know, God forbid I read a fucking parody book about your fucking useless fucking pig of a president. It's like, I don't even think you have to have more of an opinion on it than that. It's like, you just point out the blatant hypocrisy. I was like, yeah, dude, but if it was your daughter you was talking about grabbing by the pussy, you'd be so mad. Like, hey, bro, you'd be so mad. Or would you do that weird thing that a lot of business guys do, where they just kind of act like they're okay with whatever the guy with the most money in the room is doing? Like, yeah, well, I'm rich, but I'm not rich enough to say anything about that. Wow. He put his fist so far up that 12-year-old Vietnamese boy's ass. Good job, sir. It's sick. Like, this is sick shit. I mean, it's funny when you put it that way, but it's sick because it's funny, but you realize, yeah, that's probably happened. You know, there's this misinformation going on Facebook right now that CPS was caught doing child trafficking, and it's not Child Protective Services here in the States. It's a different service that's in the UK that was caught doing it. It's not CPS here in the States. Now, when you try to tell people that, they're like, no, see, they already said it was CPS. I'm like, right, but there are more things in the fucking world that have CPS than just Child Protective Services here. Like, guys, I get it. A lot of fucked up things are going on, but I promise you, that one thing right there, I'm so glad y'all are mad about human trafficking. Suddenly y'all give a shit about it. I'm so glad. Maybe it's because a lot of y'all are such neglectful ass parents that you realize your children are a step away from being in CPS, and thank fucking God that I don't even fucking think is up there. The sick bastard with the marionette strings. Thanks, Meta. But whatever it is, whatever dice roll landed that made a bunch of people go, well, damn, CPS is selling our kids. We should say something about that. You know, I almost wish that it were true, just so that we could actually see people protesting CPS. Just so we could see people united about that. I wish people cared more about gay people and shit here in the States than they do about what Activision is doing with China. You're telling me I need to boycott playing World of Warcraft. Meanwhile, you eat Chick-fil-A every day. All right, hypocrite. Let me explain to you why I don't give a shit about China. Because that's not our fucking country, and those aren't our fucking people, and we have enough fucking problems in our own country that we need to worry about. Yeah, it's a fucked up scenario, and I feel for those people, but I'm really more so feeling for these damn near 30,000 people here in Macon that are living below poverty. So fuck me if my $15 a month makes me feel a little better when I get to double click on some fucking shit on Azeroth. I'm sorry that makes me feel a little better. And I'm sorry that you have such shit impulse control that peach lemonade and a chicken fucking sandwich with pickles on it means more to you than your gay friend. I get it. But yeah, man. That's kind of it in a nutshell for me, man. I mean, it's just kind of...
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, heck, you guys are welcome to just, hang out for a bit. I mean,
I would love that.
I hate to say it, I never invite white people to the cookout. In fact, I'm not going to the cookout anymore because there are too many of you fuckers there.
Sorry, man.
That's all right. Don't apologize. Don't apologize for the ones I don't give a fuck about because you ain't them. But at the end of the day, if I could snap my fingers and all of them would be gone, you two would remain.
Thank you all so much for being with us today. Please go out into the world and shine your tolerance and patience and benefit of the doubt on the world, on everyone that you encounter. We need it out here so much. Thank you for being present. You can find more podcasts wherever podcasts are found and on maurajames.com. I love you. Thank you for being here.